Hi everyone, I hope this works, and I'm sorry if you're seeing this, that means that I'm at an airport and could not actually be there in person on Zoom, but I'm gonna do a reading and I am excited to hear the recording of everyone, hopefully afterwards. So I'm reading from my book Triptychs, and I guess the thing to know is that there are 3 columns. All the poems are in 3 columns. So thanks, Jordan, for putting this together. This poem is called I Gave Birth in Another Era. Woke to the mean error of birds squawking inside the scorched gray-black polyphony of what happens when we lose the terminology to determine how bad things really are. Was there no way to puncture the agonizing film keeping us all corralled here? I looked through the window, bewildering axiom, condition, assumption. I looked at the dwarf orange tree, fruiting sour fruit incessantly. Suppose it is possible to be in 3 states of error at once, and in each place to think 3 things, and in each thing to feel a different version of the salted wind as you are walking along the high sea cliff. Take, for example, apricots that have been genetically bred to amplify the length of time their fragrance stays in the crisp air of the cadaverous supermarket, just long enough to place them in your cart and think to yourself, the world is good. You may be very lonely at this point. The grocery clerk scans the apricots and asks you a few questions, to which the answers are always no. When will it all be over? Asked the griever, who's a very small child in the room we have painted Amalfi blue, but have not yet filled with sea-themed decor. How much of a garden's design is made more pleasing through negative space? Across from the entry for grief is grenade, which derives from the old French word for pomegranate. Why do I write poetry? Because I don't know what it means to live anymore other than the shapes left behind. Why do I write poetry? Because I want to drown. Bildungsroman. Grabbed a hole. Grabbed mother. Was abandoned. Saw green light, was grief, was stellar in algebra, studied, learned collapse, practiced collapse, memorized collapse, saw red light, got awarded for collapse, was lonely, learned fields, practiced fields, memorized fields, smoked in fields, emaciated, stole stickers, stole pencils, saw aqua light, stole eyeliner, stole eyeshadow, left everything, ran away, came back, absconded, flirted, skinned my knees, was brutal, was beyond, was lured, was yelled at, took flights across continents alone, memorized books, became a highly skilled reader, earned awards, went back to the dry fields and smoked, zoned out plenty, gravitated towards criminals, saw orange light. Criminals turned my body into a crime scene, saw white light, commuted more, grabbed another hole. That wasn't it. Remembered what was possible. That wasn't it. Became sick again. That wasn't it. Left one bad state for another. Practiced libraries, memorized libraries, mastered libraries, grabbed at a mother, grabbed at nothing, grabbed a black hole, gave birth, held on, breastfed, commuted, traveled widely, with libraries memorized, amassed nothing. An infant tugged at my nipple. Became sick, made smoothies, created dioramas, bought a house, was choked, gave birth again, almost bled to death. Stayed in the hospital, recovered, took pharmaceuticals, went back to work, made more dioramas, saw purple light. Went back to bed, made mac and cheese, commuted, amassed nothing, became sick again, took more pharmaceuticals, bought tent, bought sleeping bag, went camping, looked at the stars, made love, grabbed another hole. That wasn't it. Remembered what was possible. That wasn't it. This next poem that I'm going to read is about cooking, sort of, and the end of the world. It's called With Joy, With No Joy, and that is a line from Gertrude Stein. Night will fall on my plate of extraordinary macaron. The peach color will bleed into the moon, and maybe a roach will scurry from under the kitchen sink and run over the smooth egg white top of those confections, its antennae dripping into the rose buttercream. Jackpot, but who's counting? It scuttles to the black square of poison. When I asked my husband if he thought the macaron were good, he said, no, they're not good. They're an experience. I walked to the swimming pool, dipped my hands into the night water, and could feel something amniotic. It was getting cold. I could feel a chill coming from the underworld. Still, I wanted to get in. It was so dark and calm. My phone chimed, and my friend texted, the gangrene of imperial decline is setting in. You do not have to be gorgeous to make pastel meringues. You only need a genuine desire to take your mind off the world and supreme focus on the superfine sugar. Teaspoon by teaspoon, you pour it into the white froth that turns marshmallowy, the way shelf clouds say, it is time. And soon you are driving right past the barrier of tiny particles, gas, water droplets. Oh, all of it spins and spins, doesn't it? Day will break to the grating sounds of a leaf blower and a yapping dog. I could plunge into the bathtub of Epsom salts and lavender drops, walk naked to the fridge, open it, waft of chemicals and hormones from the cold air, lift the aluminum foil off the green bowl, and 4 egg yolks stare back at me like a goblin. What are you looking at? Am I me? I could turn you into custard if I wanted to, could throw you into the trash. I have complete control over your destiny. And I'll read one more. This is the last poem in the book, and it's called At Riverside in Avondale. And that's in Jacksonville. At Riverside in Avondale, past the marble house, full of punctuation and plants, deep where the tornado untwines its watch. What did you want, Valentine? In the shrine of sunshine, I lift my hoodie over my life, pain scale 4, thought your hands were pressed to my face, but I am walking into a glass window, you in Washington, prismatic but no water. Is this landlocked person real? I ask my phone synapses strengthened by weed, astrology, therapy, and the mute button. You call from the Capitol and I throw my phone in the St. Johns River again. It's okay, you're used to it. Let's get fucked up and forget the pandemic. Forget the homicidal pantomimes with those pretties on screens where you're supposed to enact plenitude, but sink so far into the orchestration of money and shit. How long will I walk away into these lush hours, the ones unspent in togethers incarnadine? Never did take the olive tree out of its bucket. The leaves slowly fell off and I felt awful. Didn't have the heart to garden or compost songs or disease. Long lists of foods I can and cannot eat. The physical aspects, crumbling, weight loss, mysterious appearances, a blue dress hanging from a low cloud, makeup turning up in my mailbox shaped like a cottage, all the wrong colors, but still applied them diligently. Touchdown on Mars. The mailbox collapsed. A 7th grader biking down the street was jumped by 3 kids. I said, "Do you want some water?" He was crying. I thought, don't look at me like that. Like what? Please don't look at me like that. Like an animal. It is the white flower that roars, a catastrophic tryst with undulating cumulonimbus clouds, the dripping of water from a fawn-shaped fountain, happenstance in green, someone vacuuming their living room on a Sunday. Oh, love, I don't want to see them anymore. The ghosts of my life or yours. Can't our togetherness short circuit? But no. The refinery wavers. The men trickle out with their lunch boxes where the salt wind and chemicals sting, sting, sting. It is not a dream. It is everything you hoped to forget but couldn't. It is splashed blood on the boardwalk across from the oceanic feeling you say you've never experienced. Well, I have. I do. Every day. I'm sorry. I can't help you. I don't know how to speak the language of the dead. Why do men have to kill the women they can't possess in poems? Like Richard Hugo's The Lady in Kicking Horse Reservoir, even as sublimation, a sickness, a devouring and devaluing, like that guy who tells you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And why do the women in the 1980s creative writing workshop nod along to his stupid story? No, you don't love me, dickhead. You just want your hands to turn to weeds so they can brush my dead face at the bottom of your lake. Right. Thank you. And I hope the reading goes really well. Bye, everyone.